quality of life is the key.
Every human being should have the right to a chance of life.
They don't live on the same planet we live on.
We said it wouldn't work, and it's not working.
What is that telling us?
Something's failing. I don't see the difference. Cruelty is cruelty is cruelty.
That is not true.
It isn't reducing costs.
It isn't at all.
We're talking our future.
No rational person would have children in order to make money.
What's needed is for people to change their behaviour.
Two wrongs don't make things right.
I'm still nauseated by the idea of kids as young as 5 or 6 being involved or being pushed into combat sports.
You're arming a child with control because you teach them how to punch, but then you teach them how to control that punch.
Hello and welcome to another lively debate on Extra Tonight as we look at the controversial world of child Thai boxing. It's one of the fastest growing martial arts in the UK. Children as young as 4 battle it out in a boxing ring, urged on by their parents and a paying audience. Supporters and critics will be battling it out later here in the studio. First, this report from Karen Pearson.
A recent television documentary brought the sport of Thai boxing, or Muay Thai, to widespread public attention when it showed youngsters taking part in combat competitions.
Go on, Mia! That's it, go! Go on, Mia! That's it! Go on!
Scenes showing children as young as 5 fighting in the ring and parents goading their children to kick and punch horrified many viewers and raised doubts about the suitability of training children in combative martial arts.
I'm still nauseated by the idea of kids as young as 5 or 6 being involved or being pushed into combat sports. I do not think that this can in any way aid their psychological or social development. They are treated more akin to animals, like a trained dog or fowl that are bred and trained simply to fight.
And although it's illegal in the UK to train dogs to fight, there's no equivalent legislation for children. Now, the Thai boxing and wider martial arts community are keen to present the other side of the story.
We're very concerned about the image portrayed. It was concerning in the sense that you don't always know it's happening. You know, you're involved in the sport, and what generally happens is extremely safe and well controlled. And it was an extreme view that was quite shocking to lots of people. Already the community's tried to take some steps to sort of say, this is unacceptable. How can we stop these people who are, you know, on the fringes of the sport, giving the sport a bad name, really?
No one comes with the attitude or intent they're going to hurt somebody, they want to beat someone up. If I know any child or parent ever come to say that my child wants to beat someone up, obviously we're not going to let them in the club, are we?
Despite claims that mixed martial arts is the world's fastest growing spectator sport, Thai boxing has no overall governing body in the UK, which means any gym can run a class, teaching any level of combat to a child of any age.
My favourite thing is punching and kicking because I like it. I like kicking the pads and learning how to do the stuff.
10. Reece doesn't see it as combat, he sees it as punching some pads and having fun and running around. I'm fine with that. And he's in no way aggressive at home or takes that home or to school. You know, it's very much in this environment and that's where it stays and he has that understanding.
Thai boxing is brilliant, it's a great art. Okay, it's been around for over 1,000 years and it's developed and evolved over that time. It's a very practical art. If you're under 10 years old, I generally try and steer them towards the freestyle kickboxing because there's no contact. I'm not comfortable teaching full contact Thai boxing to children. However, what I would do is take the syllabus, water it down and teach it to children.
You say it's pivoting the foot, it's turning the foot.
You've got the power to mould them. What you need to do is give them the best that you possibly can because they're only children.
If a young man or woman decides that they want to take up cage fighting, Thai boxing, or even regular boxing, then as long as they know that this is an inherently risky business and there is a good chance that they will have some kind of injury, perhaps even a serious injury, if they know this and are still prepared to engage in the sport, then that's fine by me. I don't think a child has a sophisticated enough intellect to assimilate the amount of information that's needed and to make a rational decision based on it.
First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his lip. For a week he had to talk with a list like this. Now we can end the story right here, but Shorty didn't quit, it was something in the air. Yeah, he said it was something.
Training at his gym near Nottingham, instructor Wayne Kirk regularly puts youngsters into the ring.
Some 6-year-olds are capable and are mentally strong enough to cope with it, whereas a 12-year-old might not be mentally ready to take sparring, fighting. Some kids I've refused, who were quite good, refused to let them fight, even though they've got good technique, because I've said that they're not mentally ready. And then we've trained them and then got them to be mentally ready.
Liam had his first taste of competitive fighting at the age of 11.
When you're in the ring and you're fighting, you can't hear nothing, you don't think nothing, you can't remember nothing, and it's dead weird.
Whatever he chooses to do, that's fine. While ever he's doing this sport, as far as I'm concerned, he's getting the exercise that he needs, he's keeping him off his PlayStation, he's having fun, he's meeting new people, and that's all. I couldn't ask for anything more.
In my fight, I got a little bruise and that's all I got. So it doesn't really hurt that much. You padded up, so no head contact.
Well, you obviously are a bit nervous. I mean, when we want to watch his fight, I mean, I was nervous, and you do feel for them when you see them get a kick. But it was much worse watching my daughter go around a show jumping ring than watching Christopher have a fight. I think it is good for him. I think all kids need the corners knocking off to help them cope with life.
The youngest you will ever see a child fight, and not normally on a big occasion, but on a small club fight occasion, will be 5.
You know, some people would be horrified by that.
They will be horrified, but they let them play football at 4 and 5. You go down to a football ground and you listen to the way kids are taught to play football. This is a safer environment because you're under supervision continually in a small area than on a 50-yard by 25-yard pitch when some screaming kid who thinks because he ain't got the ball, he can kick the player. What type of damage can that do with metal studs when we're using full soft padding? Starting from the feet, they have shinning in step, then groin guard, obviously, which is in any fighting sport, then have full body protection, full torso, around the sides, and gum shield.
But with no overall ruling body to regulate Thai boxing, the public still have no real way of knowing how safe the sport is.
I'm not sure the reason why there's not a governing body. There's lots of different associations, and I suppose you get a lot of politics and people falling out. See, I don't belong to any associations for that reason. Yeah, I do what I do.
You get people like the Golden Belt who speak to physical education tutors, doctors. They'll all join together and actually talk about, right, this is going to be the rules, this is going to be the regulations.
There's nothing stopping you opening a martial arts school tomorrow and teaching martial arts or whatever you think martial arts is, okay? So I think that there needs to be some kind of governing body, okay, that people have to join or get assessed through.
Even with thorough regulation, for critics of the sport, the idea of pitting one child against another remains unethical.
I used to engage in a mild dispute with a coach at my old boxing club because I never used to like to see 11-year-old kids sparring together. And he said, listen, you know, if they don't pick it up now, there'll be no development later. You've got to get them in there young. And basically his argument was that it's all very well seeing a kid skipping or punching the bag and shadow boxing, but basically they need to have the acid test of feeling what it's like to be punched. But I still didn't like it at 11.
It isn't about sticking two children in a ring and letting them fight it out. Okay, now if the sport, it needs to be light, it needs to be constructive. They need to wear the headgear, they need to learn.
We do spar in the ring, we don't hurt each other because we're best mates and we don't want to get each other hurt. You look after your partner in the ring when you spar.
You don't go in and absolutely really hurt him.